Have you ever wondered what actually happens behind the scenes when Experian looks at your credit profile? Most people know that paying bills on time is important, but very few understand the exact mechanics of how Experian measures payment history. Payment history is not just a binary checklist of paid or unpaid. It is a highly sophisticated, weighted mathematical evaluation that accounts for roughly 35% of your total credit score. That makes it the single largest factor determining whether you get approved for a mortgage, an auto loan, or a top-tier credit card. When you understand how this metric is built, you gain the exact blueprint needed to protect your score, recover from past mistakes, and optimize your financial standing. To understand Experian's evaluation process, you first have to look at what data gets reported. Every month, lenders send account updates to credit bureaus like Experian. This data includes your current balance, minimum payment status, and whether your payment arrived within the agreed billing cycle. Experian compiles this information into a rolling timeline across all your active and historical accounts. This timeline tracks credit cards, installment loans, mortgages, student loans, and auto loans. Each account acts as an individual stream of data, and Experian's algorithm merges these streams to measure your overall reliability as a borrower. The core question Experian's scoring model asks is simple. What is the likelihood that this individual will become 90 days delinquent in the next 24 months? To answer that, the model evaluates your payment history using 4 distinct structural pillars: recency, severity, frequency, and account diversity. The first pillar is recency, which measures how recently a late payment occurred. Experian's algorithm places heavy emphasis on your most recent financial behavior. A missed payment that happened last month will cause a severe, immediate drop in your score because it signals active financial distress to potential lenders. However, as that negative mark ages, its relative weight decreases. A missed payment from 5 years ago carries significantly less damage than one from 5 months ago, provided you have maintained a clean record ever since. Experian retains late payments on your credit file for up to 7 years from the original date of delinquency, but the scoring impact fades over time as new, positive data points accumulate. The second pillar is severity, which evaluates how far past the due date of payment actually went. There is a common misconception that paying a bill 2 or 3 days late will instantly ruin your credit score. Experian does not track payments that are a few days late. Lenders only report delinquencies to credit bureaus once a payment is a full 30 days past the official due date. If you miss a due date by 10 days, you may face a late fee from your credit card issuer, but your Experian credit score remains completely untouched. However, once you cross the 30-day threshold, the severity scale kicks in. Delinquencies are categorized into brackets: 30 days late, 60 days late, 90 days late, and 120 days or more late. Each progressive bracket inflicts exponentially greater damage. A 30-day late mark is a minor red flag, but a 90-day delinquency is viewed as a major default signal, severely depressing your score. The third pillar is frequency, which looks at how often late payments occur across your file. Experian distinguishes between an isolated mistake and a chronic habit. If a borrower with 10 years of flawless payment history misses a single payment, the scoring system recognizes the anomaly, even though the initial point drop can still be noticeable. Conversely, if an individual has multiple 30-day late payments spread across several credit cards over a short period, Experian treats this pattern as systemic risk. Multiple late marks across different accounts compound the penalty, signaling to lenders that you are overextended and struggling to manage your debt obligations. What happens if an account moves past simple delinquency into charge-off, collection, or legal public records like bankruptcy? When a debt remains unpaid for 180 days, the original creditor usually writes it off as a loss and classifies it as a charge-off. They may sell the debt to a third-party collection agency. Experian logs charge-offs and collections as severe negative entries under payment history. These marks remain on your credit report for 7 years and represent maximum severity. Understanding these mechanics brings us to the actionable takeaways you can implement immediately to optimize your Experian payment history score. First, set up automated payments for at least the minimum amount due on every single credit account you hold. Since Experian only measures whether the required minimum payment arrived on time, automating your minimum payments guarantees that you never cross the critical 30-day delinquency line due to simple forgetfulness or busy schedules. You can always log in manually later in the month to pay off the remaining balance in full, but automation provides an unbreakable safety net. Second, if you realize you missed a payment, bring the account current immediately before it hits the 30-day mark. If your due date was the 1st of the month and you remember on the 20th, pay it right away. You might incur a late fee with your card issuer, but because you resolved it within 30 days, no negative report will be sent to Experian, keeping your credit score completely intact. Third, if an accidental late payment does cross the 30-day mark and appears on your Experian report, request a goodwill adjustment. If you have a long history of on-time payments with that specific creditor, write a formal goodwill letter explaining the circumstance that caused the oversight and politely request that they remove the negative trade line report as a gesture of courtesy. Creditors are not obligated to do this, but many will grant a goodwill deletion for loyal customers with otherwise clean records. By mastering the levers of recency, severity, frequency, and data volume, you take full control over how Experian measures your payment history, transforming credit management from a confusing mystery into a clear, predictable system.